Mecano growth factor. How you guys doing? You guys good? Me too. A little tired from all the workouts, but I'm freaking pumped. So let's talk about MGF. Everything, covering it all. After this video, you don't have to watch any other ones because I am putting out everything, even the protocol that you could follow to mitigate and to get the best out of your buck. So here we go. In bodybuilding, Mecano growth factor, or MGF, right, as it's known. It's known as MGF. It's a splice variant of insulin-like growth factor, like IGF1. Thing is, the hormone is responsible for the healing and building of muscle. You guys can see? That's how I did it. So, now, it's responsible for the muscle growth, and it's responsible to help in the damage of the muscle to make it grow. So that's how it does. Now, muscle tissue post-exercise, or any damaged muscle tissue post-exercise. Now, any other activity that causes damage to the muscle tissue, the best way to view MGF is like that. MGF is as a byproduct of IGF. So basically it's IGF1, and the way it does it is like the predominant splice of it is into two pieces. So one splice system created by IGF1, and I'll go into both, is part of the Mecano growth factor. And really quick, I'll just say it. IGF1 AC, and the other one I'll be talking about really soon. So, MGF functions. The functions of MGF. Well, IGF1 consists of 70 amino acids, structurally similar to insulin, right? So, it's produced by the production in the liver. So when you think about it, think about your liver. When you're pinning, it's produced. So what happens? Amplifies, right? So basically IGF-1 production is stimulated like a hormone. It's a hormone, right? GH. So growth hormone. Guys get it? Perfect. Now in the body, IGF-1 affects as it pertains to cellular repair, right? When muscle tissue is damaged, this can cause IGF-1 to be spliced into two variants of IGF-1. IGF-1 EC and IGF-1, what I like to call enhanced athlete, EA. Yeah, you guys getting it, right? So two splices of one. Boom. Now, the former being is that these two is Mecano growth factor. The splice to MGF activates satellite cells, causing the growth of new muscle fibers in the body. Further, the presence of MGF increases the body. So, to increase muscle size and, more importantly, repair existing damaged muscle. The recovery factor associated with MGF is without question associated with MGF. Now, most important and beneficial aspect of the hormone is that it can look confusing, but in very simple step-by-steps, if you look at it, it's really simple. It's really, really simple. So let's go. Number one, the way I put it down is IGF-1 is released due to exercise and occurs post-exercise, right? So IGF-1 is spliced to MGF. Now, MGF activates recovery of muscle tissue via an activation of muscle stem cells. So basically, it's activating these cells so it works. The effects of MGF, you guys want to know what they are. So basically, hypertrophy and recovery. MGF is being released into the body. It's so beneficial for enhanced athletes or anyone in the fitness industry, because no matter what you're doing, no matter what exercise you're doing, if you're CrossFit, if you're walking, if you're doing just cardio to lose a little bit of weight, it's going to help you at the long run to creating the physique that you want. So it really is essential that you think about it as a really nice perspective to add into your cycle. Now, regardless of bulking, freaking crazy ass eating, bulking cycles, or cutting cycle, extreme cutting cycles, it is freaking unbelievable. Now, if you're going to stage and you have a goal, add it. Add MGF. The release of MGF is something that occurs naturally in the body. So it doesn't matter what you do, it's still going to happen. So why not amplify it by getting a little bit out of it? The problem with MGF is that there's many other things that you could do to mitigate how you could actually perform when you're pinning and get better results from it because of the lifespan, right? So, but when in the case of enhancing yourself in human evolution, what we're trying to say is that the main idea is to create a greater release of this that cannot be achieved naturally. You guys understanding me, right? So the ways you do that, the best way to do this is HGH. HGH, human growth hormone, carries many health and performance benefits. You guys know this. So if you're watching my channel, you know, you hear about bodybuilders using human growth hormone. And this is something that you want to look more deep into, and I'll expand in another video. But pertaining to MGF, it's almost the same. But human growth hormone carries many health, performance, and benefits, including elevations of IGF1 levels. When this happens, it increases the MGF. Now, naturally, MGF took 4 months, four months to increase only in 15%. You see? So if it's taking 4 months to increase 15%, what do we do? Well, but I was thinking the way I did it, right? Injecting it into muscle fibers only took 3 weeks for this to happen. So if regularly in the body, it takes 4 months for it to build up, and you inject it into muscle fibers, and you could see freaking muscles. So in 3 weeks, you get really amazing results just by using this little tiny portion out of it. And everybody's using it wrong. That's the thing. Why am I saying this? Because MGF could be used many ways, and there's many paths. But I discovered a path that is so freaking amazing, and I will explain shortly, because I don't want to go ahead of myself. I made this, and I want to stick with it. So it only took 3 weeks and increased 25%. The higher the dose, the more it was released. You know, so basically, by me taking more of it, I was seeing better results in short period of time. So instead of being 25%, I would probably see like 40%. So when you hear someone say you cannot gain muscle in like a 1 month period, you cannot gain 10 pounds of muscle, whatever. Yeah, that could be true to an extent because they're not doing it properly. But if you look at the compounds and you understand the structures and every element inside the compound itself, and you divide every atom, every freaking chain and connection, and you bind the right thing to it, you could elevate yourself in a different way. And I understand this really good. So MGF is highly anabolic. It's so extremely anabolic that it's amazing adding it to a season of gaining book phase. But the problem is that the half-life is only a few minutes. So imagine you wasting so much money and only getting like 3 to 7 minutes out of it. Yep, that is true. That is true. But I'm gonna go over it. Calm your horses. Stay on this. So it's 3 to 7 minutes. It must be used immediately post-training for it to have any effect. Now, this is the problem. It is mandatory that you inject immediately post-training for it to see some benefit to happen in your muscles. So if you're not seeing any muscles and you're working out and you're like pinning, you're like freaking 10th bottle and you're like, fuck, what happened? It's because you're going to your house after you worked out and you're pinning it and you're like, oh no, but you're not in that window. It's not the anabolic window, but I don't believe I don't believe in it because I freaking tested many things and I got my reasons, and I'll go over in other videos. So it must be used immediately post-training, right? It is mandatory that you inject it immediately, right? So what do we do? So have it ready on your last set. When you're doing your last set, have it ready, or have it prepared, pulled inside the little cooler, whatever that you're carrying it in, and just have it there. Go really quick to the bathroom and take it before your last set in weight training or during the training, because since it's only working those 3 to 7 minutes, you're still going to benefit from it. So you pin, you go and do your last sets, or you just do it over there. If you're in your house, home gym, it's even better because then you know you're getting benefit from it. Now, MGF is not the only peptide that is out there. There's a better one that I'll be talking about, and there's a better way to use it. Now, stay with me. For this reason, it's been found best suitable using the PEG, PEG. So, PEG version of it. So what I'm saying is that there's a peptide that's called PEG-MGF. And what happens? Why? Well, PEG-MGF is activated in the body for several hours, right? So you don't run into that problem where MGF is just sitting there and it only works like 3 to 7 minutes, and then you finish your workout, you want to go ahead and pin, and you're like, shit, what do I do? Well, I'm in the house, but you don't know it. So you're pinning, you're not even getting results because you're doing it wrong. So many people will actually take, in fact, the PEG version of it, which I actually feel it's actually greater and it serves a better purpose, because let's be, truthful. How many people are going to be, I do it, I'll do it, but how many people are going to be like so freaking committed and be like, oh my God, I'm ready, I'm going to pin it immediately on that last set, boom, boom, boom. No, a lot of people are not going to do it. So they're going to go to this one that has several hours effect in the body. Now, where standard MGF only for a few minutes, MGF alone will be active only a few minutes in the body. So, in the injection site, not all over the body, in the injection site. So let's say that day you're working delts, well, you're gonna pin both delts. And let's say you're working biceps, and you can pin both biceps. It only works local. And the reason I know it, because I have many clients that use it, and I use it myself, and I found out how to use it perfectly, accordingly, so you get the best benefits, and everybody else sees amazing benefits. So you could too. So my advice is to do this way, different. I found during my own experience with it and research, first, if you were to train biceps, inject both biceps, like I said. If you were to train glutes, both glutes, like that. So with PEG-MGF, a single injection alone, just alone, the hours of the activity would be more effective itself. Only side effect I found would be a little discomfort in the area, like almost like a little itch, like when you, like it itches. So when you pin it, and that last set, if it was only the MGF, you still get like that little itch. Because PEG, same thing happens. So both ways, same shit happens. Same thing happens. So about side effects, but that's a good thing. That's a really good thing that's happening. That means you know that it crystallized inside and it's working. So it's puncturing that muscle tissue, and it's freaking making something happen. So when you know that you don't feel the itch, you don't feel it working, that means you probably got bullshit, or you probably got something else, because that's how it feels. That's the side effect, to know that what you got is real. Now, in other words, in a good way, like it's working, or leaving like almost like pump on. So MGF administration. The MGF administration. You guys want to know how to use it. So I found research and many ways to do it, that people are doing it this way. I do it a different way. I'll be going over that. So what I found is that you use an insulin needle directly into the muscle. I use a 30 gauge into muscles trained, delts, back, quads, whatever you work out that day. So during workouts and after workouts, they'll be doing it only in one bicep. That's what I found out, that people will be doing it like in one area. But you have two muscles that are the same, and if you divide your body, that means that you have the same muscles, both sides, right? So that means you have to do it double, right? It makes sense, right? You don't want one side to look off, that's why you see some bodybuilders that experiment with things, and they'll have one bicep bigger than the other, or one delt that looks bigger than the other, or chest looks bigger than the other one, or one is like off. So you got to be really precise where you're injecting, because it works located in the area. If you put more, that means you're going to get a better, bigger, more fuller effect in a short period of time. Now, how much do you use? Well, you could use 200 micrograms, that's mcgs, in both muscles, a total of 400 mcgs, so micrograms. Now, how long? 5 to 7 weeks. If you go over that, they say that the body gets adapted to it, which makes sense. It does make sense, because you create a sense of, you have to resensitize. It's like when you're, having too much intercourse. It's not like the first day that you went and had sex and you're like, fuck, I spent like 7 hours today, and then the other day I spent like 4 hours having sex, and then the other day I'd spend like 5 hours, and then all of a sudden, like in a week, you're like, fuck, I just could keep going, and so it's the same way. It works the same way. You resensitize. It's the best example I could give you to resensitize your receptor. You sensitize your gland, you resensitize your receptors, but that's how the body works. So it does make sense. Now, what to do after that short period of time where you adapted into, you know, there's many things that you could do. Now, what I do is I include IGF1 for 4 weeks after I use the MGF, if it's MGF alone or PEG. What people do is that they'll use IGF1 with PEG or with PEG-MGF, and that is, it will interact, but it's basically like saying it's not going to work. What I do after that, I start IGF1 for 4 weeks or IGF1 LR3 and MGF by itself and IGF LR3 at the same time. Why? Studies say that using both will make them battle each other. Exactly, they battle each other. Like example, D-ball and Anabar. You put them together, one freaking puts you like cloudy, amazing look, and you like, you know, you got that cloud looking face. Anabar is a cutting steroid, and then what it does, almost the same thing, but you don't retain the water. So one of them is telling the other one what to do. So you want them to find themselves together and battle, right? Yes, I'll try to explain why. Now, some people, because of this, they use IGF-1 LR3 Monday and Tuesday. They would use MGF and like that every day with no breaks, right? With no breaks. So let's forget that I'm telling you how I do it, right? Let's forget all of that. Let's start the real deal. I take PEG-MGF